Hey guys, I'm Brogan, and today in this video we're going to unbox, demo, and review the MinisForum UM760 Slim Mini PC. So this is a very simplified and compact mini PC, and we're seeing mini PCs get bigger and bigger. So really excited to see something like this that is on the smaller size, more compact size. It's going to be something that you can kind of tuck away on the back side of your monitor or on your desk much easier than some of these big and clunky options out there. But the specs on here definitely seem to pack a punch. Let's dive into those before we unbox, demo, and review this product. So the UM760 Slim here offers an AMD Ryzen 5 7640HS processor that's going to deliver 6 cores, 12 threads, and speeds up to 5 gigahertz on here. We also have the AMD Radeon 760M graphics. We have 16 gigabyte DDR5 RAM, and we also have a 1 terabyte M2 SSD installed within here with Windows 11. So let's dive into this. Let's get acquainted with the actual mini PC as we unbox this and comb through the layout and design here. And then of course we'll fire it up. We'll dive into a couple different tasks on here. Of course we're going to dive into some gaming too to see what the capabilities are when diving into retro video game emulation as well as AAA titles. Let's get started. Alright, so we've got our user manual on top. We've got our MinisForum Mini PC collateral guide as well. Here is the mini PC itself. I'm going to actually set that aside just because I like to go through and see what we have included in here first. Alright, so inside here we have our mounting bracket, which I've seen a lot of mini PCs these days not have mounting brackets. Actually, the last couple that I reviewed didn't. So it's nice to see that this one is compact enough to where it can mount very nicely on the back side of a monitor if we wanted to, or of course inside of a desk, like inside of the leg of a desk, outside of a desk if you wanted to put it right on the side. You could also, if you are into modding like arcade 1-up arcade cabinets or regular arcade cabinets, you could use this, which is what I've done myself, to mount your mini PC within your arcade 1-up cabinet. So we also have right here our power supply cable. So we've got this 2-part cable right here, connects together just like that. I like the fact that this is low profile as well, and you can see we have the cable recessed in there. It's a nice touch on here. Set that aside. We have our HDMI cable right here, and then we also have some additional feet for the bottom side of our mini PC. Usually when these are provided, that means that we have to remove these on the bottom side of our mini PC in order to access the set screws to open everything up. So definitely interested in taking a look at all of that. And let's start opening this up and taking a closer look. Alright, so this is very lightweight. I do want to make a point of mentioning that. It's not the lightest one out there on the market, but in terms of mini PCs that have the specs that this has, this is pretty lightweight here. So definitely like that. Excellent airflow I can see on both sides here with the ventilation. Now, front panel, very simplified, and I mentioned this when first doing the intro for this video here. We just have a power button here. We have 2 USB 3 ports right there. We've also got our audio jack connection right there in the front. So very simple. Now backside here we have our 19-volt power supply port connection right there. That's where we're going to bring our power supply cable into the mix. We have 1 Ethernet port right here. We have our HDMI port. We have our display port, and then we also have our USB 4 back here. So we could incorporate 3 different displays into the mix here via these ports, and then we just have 2 USB-A connections on the back side. So this is definitely a lot less ports on here than what we typically see on mini PCs, but you know, this I think would be enough for me. I could bring in my flash drive, my keyboard, my mouse, as well as a controller into the mix here very easily, or an external drive if I wanted to bring in an external hard drive for gaming. I would be able to access all that stuff, and then more and more stuff are using the USB-C connections too, so that definitely comes into the mix. Now, very simple layout here. We don't have access to anything through the top of the mini PC, so we're gonna have to flip this over. Now down here you can see, I see the cooling fan right through the bottom ventilation here, which is awesome, but in terms of accessing everything internally, we're gonna have to remove all 4 of these rubber feet on the bottom in order to access the screws below to open everything up. And we're going to do exactly that here. So let me grab my screwdriver, we'll remove these 4 feet, and we'll access everything so we can see at least what the internal layout looks like. All right, so I'm going to put that little foam top underneath here just so we don't scratch the top of the mini PC. And you should be able to just easily maneuver these off with your finger or thumb, and there we go. So this is why they provide some extras, because you can see all the adhesive on here. Luckily it is still very tacky, but in the event that you don't put this face up on your desk and you pick up some hair or dirt and stuff like that, you'll have access to some additional ones that you could replace. But generally I've had good luck with the adhesive bonds still being good on these after removal. Just make sure you leave them face up, otherwise you'll pick up debris and stuff like that that definitely will work against you when it comes time to reapply those. So just going to take my Phillips head screwdriver, give this a few turns in here. Once all 4 screws are removed, there's a little tab right here where you can just stick the end of your screwdriver in, and you should be able to kind of pry it back and create a little separation. Now be super careful when you remove this, because you have 1 cable connection in here. If you want, you can just remove that from the board here very easily. It pops right out, and then you can go ahead and set that aside. But take a look on here before we do. We've got our cooling fan located right here on the bottom, so if you ever needed to make any adjustments, very easy to remove all of that. There's just 4 screws holding that entire thing in place. We also have our thermal paste under here as well. And the nice thing as well is that you never have to wonder which way this goes back down, because there's only one way that you can put this entire panel back in place where it's going to reach your connection that you just removed. So inside here, very nice layout, very easy to access everything within here. If you wanted to adjust your SSD, you can do that quite easily. You can see it's located right over here, your M2 SSD. There's another open slot here as well that you can go ahead and add a M2 SSD into for additional storage space. You can add anything up to 4 terabytes on here, so very easy to do that, and a little bit hard to see here, but the slot for that is right here, and then you would secure it down here. The screw is already fastened in place, so very easy to make adjustments. And then you have your RAM over here as well, so if you wanted to come in here and replace the RAM, you can certainly do that very easily. Love the open layout here. There's not a bunch of screws that need to be removed. Once you pop the back panel off, you have full access to everything. So I'm going to go ahead and reinstall our cooling fan cable. And once you have that secured, you just line everything up, tap it into place, and you can go ahead and add all 4 screws, secure those in place, and then of course drop your rubber feet down in place, and you're good to go. So I'm going to go ahead and secure everything in here, and then we're going to fire this up. We'll dive into a bunch of games to test out the performance over there, and then of course we'll dive in and I'll do some video editing and stuff like that just to get acquainted with the mini PC, and I'll let you know what the experience was like doing that stuff.
You win. 2, fight!
It's Atriox. He led the attack on the Infinity. He was looking for something. He killed everyone.
I know. We met.
Is deceive you, brother. He's aboard the rock at this very moment.
The freaks? What are they doing here?
Gang activity's been ramping up without Batman around. Guess the freaks want to join the party.
Someone ought to teach them a lesson. I'm on it.
Can't focus on torching this place with all that.
Gotta stop these freaks from burning this place to the ground.
Fire alarm! Die! Die! Die!
Down you go.
The average temperature.
Hey, look up here!
Alright guys, we jumped in here today and we checked out this MinisForum Mini PC. I love that it's compact, I love that it's relatively lightweight. I also love the fact that we have exceptional airflow on here. I mean, ventilation is all over the place on here, and we've got that cooling fan right underneath as well. When you actually open this up, you can simply remove the bottom panel there with that one cable connection and access everything very easily within. Of course, yes, you do have to remove the feet on the bottom, but they're cool enough to actually provide you with some additional ones just in case you lose that adhesive bond underneath there. So very easy to customize whatever you want to do within your mini PC. If you want to access your M2 SSD slot in here for expansion, very easy to do so. It took me all of about 30 seconds to open this up and effectively access everything within. Now, in terms of the layout here for ports, it's very simple. Not a whole lot of port options here on the front panel. I've talked about this a lot in the past with reviews. I like to have everything that I need and want, readily available in the front here, and I have that. In a perfect world, I'd like to see a USB-C port here on the front, but it's not a deal breaker for me. We do have that on the back side, and we have additional USB-A ports back there as well. But USB 3 is crucial. I use a USB mouse, keyboard, flash drive oftentimes, or an external hard drive which connects via USB 3 connection. So being able to easily remove those and bring something else into the mix on the front panel is huge for me. Typically, I'll go ahead and I will put the keyboard on the back side, mouse on the back side, because those are going to stay pretty consistent on here. I'm not going to be removing those often. So I just use the front ports for whatever I'm going to be kind of changing out as I go. Backside here, though, we have a USB 4 connection, which is obviously Type-C. We also have our HDMI and display port, so you can get multiple displays up and running with this. This is a powerhouse mini PC, guys. This is absolutely incredible for performance. I wasn't really sure exactly where this was going to line up. Big fan of the graphics that are included in here from AMD. Also love the processor as well. And you saw exactly what's possible with that processor. You can get into everything for retro video game emulation on here. If you're a gamer like me, you can even get into AAA titles. We jumped into some pretty demanding AAA titles today, and you can see this cruised through everything effortlessly. I also edited some videos today on this mini PC, and I actually used a cloud-based software for all of my editing because I'm on the go constantly. So with this, I can access everything through the web wherever I am. I don't have to worry about taking SD cards with me, flash drives with me, hard drives with me, or having to travel with a PC that has a massive storage space. I can access everything on the go, but with that, you need something that has some power, that's very fast, and this 100% backed me up today. I didn't have to wait for things to buffer endlessly. I didn't have to wait a long time for things to load in. This just cruised through all of that as well. So big fan of what this has to offer. Current price point at the time of this recording, $319.99, and I think that's an amazing deal for what you get here. If you were looking for similar specs, You could probably find something a little bit cheaper than this, I'll be perfectly honest, but you're not going to find something that is a reputable brand name like MinisForum. I've been using MinisForum now for well over the last year and a half. Huge fan of what they offer. In fact, my main mini PC that I have right here below the camera is a MinisForum mini PC. I have another one over here on my studio setup for the Marcus Buff Bagwell YouTube channel where we do our live streams. Mark has one as well at his place, and then we also have a tablet that I use when filming all the time, and that is a MinisForum tablet laptop as well. So huge fan of the brand, very reliable, definitely worth every penny in my opinion. But let me know what you guys think in the comments of this video. Hit me up. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed the content today, please give me a thumbs up on the video. It's a huge help to me here on YouTube, and of course hit subscribe to stay in the loop for all future videos right here on the channel. Thanks guys, see you on the next one.